Have you ever been in a situation where you become so nervous and at the same time so intense when being called upon for a job interview? What makes it so exciting is that the young lady, Raleigh, was invited to Ocean Heights Constructions, which is one of the leading construction firms in the country, as the personal assistant to the CEO, Gowon. This has been the dream of every inspired youth to work with such a magnanimous role model. Raleigh seems to be the most qualified for the job as an applicant who has a master's degree in architecture. What do you expect from a girl from the trenches? The opportunity of even talking to Gowon face-to-face got her excited. Nedu, her boyfriend who's a marketer for a brand, wanted to know how it all went. On the flip side, Raleigh's neighbor Bucky and her children, Ada and Cecilia, have been passing through maltreatment from their irresponsible father, Jimmy. He came home that night to ask for his food without dropping a penny before leaving the house. Bucky knew what was coming, so she asked her children to go play with Raleigh while she received the punchings for the day. While some other neighbors like Mama Osak Polo make fun of her, Raleigh wasn't happy with the way Bucky subjects herself as a punching bag to her husband in a diplomatic approach. But Bucky would always defend her husband for his actions. The same day, she got a call from Ocean Heights Constructions concerning the job she applied for. She got the job, and it was a joy to behold. It was her first day at work, and Lamidi showed her round and what her job description entailed. When Gowon came in, he told Raleigh to see him immediately. Gowon was already expressing an unethical standard at the very instance by complimenting her down to her backside. So sad to hear that Ada and her sister come from a dysfunctional home, her mother sent her on an errand to Jontana's house even while she was aware that he had been sexually harassing her daughter. But she never cared. Ada has no choice. She has to obey. Jontana has always tried to have his way, but the courage and advice from Raleigh kept her strong even when she couldn't look up to her mother. Raleigh's demanding job has really not been easy from the beginning, but she still kept the pace. Gowon asked her to get prepared for a meeting with a group of people from Cabana Realty Company. Later that day, they had the meeting. But Gowon's client tended to doubt his abilities to handle the project of 5 billion naira, not until Raleigh made an impressive speech that made it possible. Gowon was impressed with her outstanding performance at the presentation and didn't mind giving her a lift home even as her boss. Raleigh wouldn't just stop talking about her genius boss even to her boyfriend. Nedu doesn't sound okay with the way everything was playing out even when Gowon called her at an ungodly hour and her response. Bucky was reprimanding her daughter for her nonchalant behavior, especially with the errand she sent her to Jontana's house. Ada wasn't happy and walked out on her for blaming her. Bucky got furious over her actions and wanted Jimmy to act. But unfortunately, it backfired with their usual ways, and he decided to test his muscles again. Cecilia came to look for Ada. She couldn't withstand her father hitting her again. But this time, Bulky couldn't survive it. Jimmy saw that she was dead and almost raised an alarm which alerted the children. He had no option than to run away before Ada and her sister could get home. These vulnerable children now understand not only death, but life only after it has placed its cold hands on the reason why they still draw breath in this wicked world. The poor girls had to stay with Raleigh that night since they couldn't find their father. It wasn't easy for them, especially with Cecilia, who still has every imagination preserved in her memory. Raleigh was late to work the next day after everything the previous night, so she went straight to her boss's office only to be given a letter. A sack letter?
No, it's a plane ticket.
They leave first thing tomorrow morning. This is how demanding your job can be when you work with a genius. Nedu doesn't feel comfortable with her traveling with her boss, which led to both lovers having a little misunderstanding. She also had to pay Mama Osak Polo to help take care of the kids while she will be away for 2 days. But something happened earlier on while they were on their way. Raleigh noticed that the location of the hotel was changed. Gowon explained that he decided to get a service apartment because he wasn't satisfied with the hotel services. Should this be fine with anyone who encounters such an event? Later that night, Gowon came into her room in the apartment to inspect the presentation that he earlier asked her to make. He wasn't convinced with the task and decided to wait much longer in her room while she edited the presentation. Meanwhile, Ada still missed her mother. She couldn't stay in the room alone when Jontana saw her. He tried to console her, and as caring as he may be, he asked her to come in while he kept her company. Even though she doesn't trust him, her weakest moment got the better part of her. Raleigh was also battling her own challenges too. Her boss wouldn't get behind her until it turned into something else. Gowon is a harsh, brutal man. He didn't even let her breath until he took her unaware. It was a two-aside, unexpected agony for the poor girls. Jantana gave the vulnerable girl alcoholic substances to calm her nerves, but he had other disgusting plans for a girl who was still mourning her mother. This fateful night, I would say, is the darkest night never to be forgotten in the lives of these innocent ladies as Raleigh was raped in the apartment. This can be a warning to ladies out there to be wary about men who mostly reside in service apartments. They are more likely to harm you in such places than a hotel where you can raise an alarm and be heard. Thank God Adam survived the brutality. Raleigh came back to hear all that had happened. Although Jantana had a scar on his head and was taken to the hospital, the neighbors had already reported him to the police. Raleigh took a day off work the following day. She had to take Ada to the hospital for checkup. Fortunately, Dr. Naomi confirmed that there was no penetration, but to be on a safe side, Ada has to be placed on post-exposure prophylaxis. Raleigh thinks she will be needing this too. She asked Ada to wait outside while she had a word with the doctor. She wanted the same antibiotics too. The doctor wanted to know if she was also raped, but Raleigh admitted it was a consensual sex. They were about to leave the hospital when Dr. Naomi called her for a quick chat. Raleigh mentioned earlier to her that she works for Oceans Heights Constructions. The doctor told her that a lady who once worked in the same company came to the hospital a month ago that she was raped. But most ladies don't have the courage to speak publicly in being a victim of rape. Raleigh doesn't think it's the best thing to do. While they were leaving the clinic, her phone rang. It was Lamade. She told Raleigh that she has another trip with the boss over the weekend. She couldn't bear it anymore and had to end the call. She also barely picks Nedu's calls. He thought he had offended her the night before she traveled, so he brought gifts to make it up for her. Little did he know that it wasn't about him. He tried to know what happened. Raleigh honestly opened up to him that she was raped, but Nedu didn't handle the issue maturely, so he left her when she needed him most. Raleigh resumed work late again. Lamade was surprised to see her also, but Raleigh didn't understand what she meant. She went into her office to find out that she has been replaced in a short while. Kachi has taken the seat to become the next prey. Gowon came in to give Kachi a task to do. He acted like he never saw her. Sometimes the people we adore as role models aren't what they seem to be. The same day, Jantana's mother brought the police to arrest the underage girl for hitting her son on the face, and the officer who displayed unprofessionalism took her away. Raleigh at the time was with Naomi when her phone rang. They quickly rushed to the station and she was released. All thanks to Naomi after threatening the police officers. Naomi knew where Kelly lives. She was the last victim before Raleigh, but she wouldn't want to bring this up again. All they needed was enough evidence to put up a case with the aid of human rights against Gowon. Raleigh was already giving up. Everything that had happened that fateful night still rings a bell. It's becoming a nightmare. Even while she bathed or even looked at herself in the mirror, she felt dejected. Gowon has to pay for what he has done. Not even the universe can help you if you don't try, so she had to try. Even though she doesn't have a great number of followers, it could still mean something to those this message will get across to. She must escalate Gowon's rascal attitude towards women to the world. Who said it was going to be that easy? Gowon has just raped Kachi right in his office. This literally means that he does this to every of his previous staff and no one has got the guts to speak up. But will Raleigh's case be different this time around, even though the video was already going viral? Everyone just wanted to listen, they commented, liked and shared the pathetic story until it got to Gowon's desk. Gowon immediately called his lawyer to do all he could. He was still on the phone when Cabana Realty called. They had just terminated the contract with Ocean Heights after the escalated video. Don't forget Raleigh helped him secure the $1 million contract. Barrister Tosan, who's Gowon's lawyer, has sued Raleigh with defamation of character with a fine of 100 million naira. He assured him that everything is under control. Raleigh thinks she has picked the wrong fight. At this moment, she's becoming helpless about the charges against her. Meanwhile, John Tana doesn't sound a big case to treat with his level in the society. The police came to arrest him over an attempted rape and other charges. Now the only way Raleigh can put up a good fight back is to go on a live interview with some media channels who are interested in the case. Gowon isn't comfortable any longer with the intense publicity this was turning into and how far the media has gotten this too. This triggered many silent voices because society has raised women to mute their voices, while so many evil men are out there having their ways with such atrocities. Nidu also saw the escalated video. He felt bad with the way he treated her and wants to make amends, but he is the last person she wants to speak with now. At that time, Dotun and his wife Yinka have been following the headlines on Gowon's case. Yinka thinks that she could make the cry of the helpless heard. But her husband, who's a man of God, wouldn't want his name dragged to the mud with the past. He might be right. Not every man would want the society to see his wife as a victim of rape. Also, the board members of Ocean Heights Construction summoned an urgent meeting after the escalated news. Gowon must step down as the CEO pending the investigation. Gowon built the company, so he doesn't care about their opinion. It's high time the case gets to court. Raleigh has no evidence, and his lawyer assures him that Raleigh will beg him with her life. Barrister Tosin also gave him the option of settling out of court if he decides. But what happens to other victims? Gowon thinks settling this outside the court jurisdictions will be fine. Nedu is his only option to talk to her with a handsome reward of 750,000 naira as salary to work in his company, which he accepted. Sometimes women should be careful of their choice of partners and their ambitions because they could be exchanged as collaterals. He knows Raleigh wouldn't listen to him. Talking to Naomi will be a lot more positive. Dotun and his wife came back from church service one day with a change of heart. He apologized to his wife for being selfish and wants her to do whatever she thinks is right to help the victimized ladies. But how best can she help bring the great Gowon down? Yinka was also a victim of Gowon before she got married to Dotun. And the difference between her and other victims is that while they labeled allegations against him, she has evidence that can put Gowon behind bars. It was the day of the court hearing. Barrister Tosin brought his A-game to the table against the defendants. Gowon seems to be winning the case until Yinka shows up, and she is called upon to tell the court what she knows. She then played a voice recording of Gowon and his nonchalant words after defiling her. Right there, Gowon lost the battle. The news reported that Raleigh was awarded 50 million naira for damages. This was just the beginning of Gowon's downfall as 10 new cases were filed against him. No man is too big for whence karma shall befall him.
Thanks for watching. Please comment your thoughts and also like and share this video for more super amazing videos that we are bringing to you. And if you're watching from our YouTube channel, you can also subscribe and turn on your notification for more. Thank you.